Let's be honest, parenting can be messy and hard, but also so rewarding. In this podcast, we'll share all the ups and downs of parenthood, as well as share some of our favorite tips and tricks for parenting using both our experiences and expertise from our professional lives as a speech and language pathologist and teacher, but also our everyday lives as moms, just trying to balance it all. We're so glad you could join us.
Hello, welcome to And Then We Had Kids. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Sheena.
And again, I say this, I think, every single time we have a guest on an episode. And I say it because I truly mean it. I love this part and that we just get to meet new people, hear their stories, hear about business ventures, just being able to connect moms, parents, kids, and fun things to do. And so I'm so excited for our guest on this episode. I'm going to let Sheena introduce who we have today.
Yeah, so I was really excited when this person reached out because I was familiar with kind of the organization and what they do, and I've actually been following them for several years. So we have Debra Flanagan, who is one of the publishers of Macaroni Kid, specializing in Chicago's Northside. So Debra, welcome to And Then We Had Kids.
Thank you so much. I love the name.
Big.
Actually, our husbands came up with it.
I know it's hard to have to give them credit for it, but they
right.
It's okay. But yeah, I think in this parenting world where it feels like there's so much out there, and at the same time you're always wanting to find something helpful, Macaroni Kid is it. I feel like this is a great piece for any parent to tap into. So I'm gonna let Debra just explain what it is, because I was new to this. Once we knew we were gonna have Debra on, I did some research, but I'm gonna let Debra share about herself and about Macaroni Kid.
Great. So Macaroni Kid is actually a national organization, and basically the territories are kind of franchised out. So all the publishers own specific territories. And as Sheena mentioned, I own the Chicago North Side, as well as kind of the northern suburbs and far west side of Chicago. And so each publisher kind of has the freedom to write about what they want to write about, but to keep it hyper local to their territory. So we just talk about, things to do on the weekends with your kids, things to do for holidays like St. Patrick's Day, Easter, where to get, the best toys. We have a guide on parent date night even, or we do stuff on the best place to get sweets and treats on the North Side. So all different types of guides. And then also we'll have articles just with parenting tips, recipes, crafts. I actually, because my family likes to travel a lot, we do a lot of family travel guides.
Nice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And then my kids are older. I kind of, I try and reach both groups of people who have younger children, but also, we're still looking for things to do with the teens.
Yeah.
And it's harder sometimes because there's not as much structured things for them to do. And you want them to be able to do things independently and safely in the city. So it's a bit of a challenge sometimes. So I like kind of seeking those places out too.
Yeah. I remember when I had my oldest, living in the city. I live in a small condo and just wanting to get out and about and do things, but I didn't know what or where to go. And that was how I found out about Macaroni Kid, signed up for the newsletter. And it's just been so helpful to even just on a whim say, we've got an open weekend. What should we do? Oh, wait, let me just pull up my newsletter and see what, other people have done the wonderful time and research of pulling together all of the events that are going on, so I don't have to. It's what I love.
Yeah, I found it was a good fit for me because we were always going out and about and doing things. I love living in Chicago. I take advantage of it, as much as I can. So, but then I'd come back from things and then I'd send out 10 different texts to people saying, oh, you got to go see this or you got to go do this. And I was like, I spend a lot of time doing that. I need to find a different way of getting the word out because I just feel like I'm compelled to share it. but it was like being time consuming. So it's actually easier for me now to just like put it all in the newsletter and then just, send it out to, all of our readers, but most of, some of those readers are my friends as well. But then you always get like the one random friend that will contact you and say, what is there to do this weekend? And I'm like, read my newsletter.
This is what I do. Yeah. So how long have you been with Macaroni Kid, Debra? And then how did you find it, or how did you get started with it?
Yeah. So before the pandemic, I worked in the travel industry. I was a corporate travel consultant. So I negotiated like airline deals and stuff for large corporations, wrote like their travel policies. So anyway, when the pandemic hit, I was like one of the first people to be laid off. I mean, no one was traveling. So so I was laid off, and then I had long been a customer of Certificate. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like sourced group deals that get discounts to family focused businesses. So discounts to maybe even Disney tickets, all different sorts of family businesses, family directed businesses. So you can get discounts to great things. And so I was a long time customer, and Certificate bought Macaroni Kid years ago. So I think everything just came at the same time. And so I got an email during the pandemic, ironically, from Certificate saying, we're looking for Macaroni Kid publishers. And I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose. And instead, I was looking for a way to more efficiently, share things that I wanted to share. So it really just came at the right time. I don't know that it's something I would have ever necessarily left my job to do, because it was kind of a risk in a way, but it wound up being perfect for me. So.
Wow. But it's like the pure definition of like when one door closes, another one opens. Like this.
Right.
Yeah,
perfect
exactly.
Opportunity fell in your lap.
Yeah, for sure.
So speaking of kind of things that are coming up for families, we've got spring breaks that are coming up, things like that. It's also crazy to think about. We're also prepping for summer camps and things like that. I know that my husband and I already have the CPS Park District dates on our calendar for when the programming comes out and when we have to register. And I've heard that that's a whole stressful thing.
I'll tell you, the suburbs, someone who's in the suburbs, January 1 is when people start talking about summer. And it is, I mean, as someone with like younger kids, and my oldest is starting to do like some camps, that was like a shell shock to think of. I just finished the holidays, and now you're asking me to think about what I'm doing in June and July. My brain can't handle it. So I think something like Macaroni Kid, I mean, you got some ideas, I hope, of things to do in spring and summer, and just as the weather gets nicer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have guides to a few different things for spring break, like ideas on what to do with your kids, travel ideas, and then there's camps that are available for spring break. So we have all of that on our site. And then for summer camps, we have a very large guide of all the different camps across the Northside. And there's always new ones sprouting up. It's amazing. And they're all so diverse. So, I mean, from, theater stuff to, there's actually an indoor skiing place that's opening. Yeah. And so they're going to have a camp where you ski indoors and you learn to do that as kids. So, I mean, it's so unique. So I
have to sign up for that one.
I know, right? The other thing, like, is cancer. It's such an awesome time to try new things, and yeah, you could just do 10 different things in the summer. I mean, there's so many things available. So, but I know, like, of course, things are not cheap. And I know a lot of people do hold out to see if they can get into like the Park District stuff.
Yeah.
But then when they can't, it's like scramble time.
Yeah. Then
But
what?
once again, it's like someone else has already done all of the research and it's all like packaged with a beautiful bow for you to really just see all of your options in one spot.
Yes, yes. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of an obsession.
So then how do you find out about all these things? Like how, like, I mean, it's great. I feel like, you know, you can, like you said, like kind of go down this like rabbit hole of like, if I find one site and then I keep going, but how are you sourcing all these like things to do, events, camps, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, some of it was just knowing, coming across these businesses throughout, the past 16 years. And then I do participate in a lot of festivals throughout the year, and especially during the summer. And I'll meet a lot of people that own these businesses, or we'll talk about them, and I'll do some further research. So it's really just being out and about and knowing who's doing what, and then of course I do online research as well. But I think a lot of it's just word of mouth and then I just do the further research, make sure it's legit.
And that's the most helpful part, to have somebody do that piece. You want to make sure that if you're going to take your kids somewhere, that it's worth your time and energy that you're going to, or if you're going to be signing up for a class or something, that it's good. So yeah, I think that piece of all of that is huge.
Yeah, for sure. Thinking of things to do and all this research, have you come across kind of your favorite hidden gems that you love to share with your readers or followers?
In terms of things to do, like in the summer.
Yeah, which of course will not be so hidden once we share this on the podcast, but
Yeah. No, I mean, of course, the beach. I love the beach. So we spend a lot of time there. But the Woe Zone is a place that we love to go to every summer. It's in Hammond, Indiana.
oh,
And it is, or it's actually Whiting, Indiana, but it's very close to Hammond. And it is like a floating obstacle course on the water. And it is so fun.
this
Um,
sounds so intriguing.
oh, it's a beautiful beach, regardless. But this really gives like a whole element of adventure to it. So it's a lot of fun. It's like a ninja warrior type thing. So we always go there. Santa's Village, believe it or not. We went there with our kids when they were young, and we're still going. They love the petting zoo. They love that there's no lines. Like, even though the rides are like not as challenging as what they will do at Six Flags,
Right.
they can do them multiple times. So they kind of challenge themselves. Sometimes they're like, okay, I'm going to do this one with my eyes closed, or I'm going to turn around backwards and do it. So, I mean, they at this age. So we still go there.
I love that Santa's Village is still a thing because I definitely remember going as a kid myself.
Same.
It's so great.
Oh,
I
I'm gonna
don't
have
know.
to take my kids.
I just assumed that it wasn't even like around anymore.
That's what I assumed. I feel like malls I went to as a kid aren't around anymore. I just assumed Santa's Village isn't around.
I really want to go now.
It's called Santa Springs. So they have an attached water park, which is also nice because that anyone can enjoy that at any age. So yeah, no, it's super fun. And there's gaming, like carnival gaming, that's really cheap. So we love it there. And then we visit a lot of the pools all over the place. We'll go to Rainbow Falls. We'll go to the Wilmette pool. Like, we just go all like the suburban pools, and then also like the Chicago Park pools, which, you can't beat the price on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So there's just so much. And we go to, we live right next to Wrigley Field, ironically, but we will go to games. We go to the Chicago Dog games in Rosemont, because it's a different vibe. It's just a very family friendly, low key vibe. So, yeah.
Those are some really great opportunities. I just sometimes don't think about. I'm still stuck on this whole indoor skiing camp because my oldest is really into skiing right now, even though he's only gone like once in his life.
Well, it's called Greater Chicago. And yeah, it's very unique.
So you're doing all of this research for families in the Chicagoland area. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey with parenthood. How do you kind of find quote unquote balance with kind of what you do with Macaroni Kid and then your own kids at home?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty lucky. Even before I came to Macaroni Kid, I worked from home for a very long time. So for most of their lives, I have been working from home. So that's been really great in terms of being able to work around them and work when, flexible hours, and be involved in their school and, always being there for a pickup. And so I was very, very lucky. So, I mean, even now, we're still, again, like now I want to take them to do things and the way that we used to do things all the time, but now they're not as necessarily willing or looking to do stuff, so I can work more, like I can put more hours in and not feel guilty because they don't really want me in their hair.
Yeah.
And just spend, do more for myself. But we travel a lot. We love to travel as a family. And that's kind of one of the big bonuses as well, because we can just go whenever we want,
What's your favorite travel destination?
Oh dear.
Putting you on the spot.
I don't know. I do have my three favorite places in the world.
Yes.
Are Greece, Lake Tahoe, and Mackinac Island.
Oh,
So,
those are some good ones.
Beautiful variety in there.
Yeah. And we've been around. We've been to a lot of places. So yeah. So those are.
Any fun travel tips? I feel like we're like Sheena and I, like, as we have spring break, we're not going anywhere just yet, but like we do love to travel, both of us. And like, any good travel tips, and especially as like your kids are older or looking back when they were younger?
I start young is number one. I think start young, get them used to it.
Yes.
My kids are very good travelers, but we start immediately and then they've never really been difficult. I did come, so I just went on a trip and I just found something that I was so excited about. Because now a lot of these airlines, right, you have to pay to bring your carry-on on, or the only way you can bring a personal item, but that's the only thing that's free. Everything else you have to pay for. So
Yeah.
I'm thrifty and I refuse to pay for luggage. So I always have like a backpack, like a very small backpack, but it's not always enough. So I just found these this business is gonna go crazy. I just found stuffable pillows, like neck pillows. So you can
Oh, I've heard about those.
Yeah,
Oh.
work like a charm because they're not personal items. So I just stuffed that with clothes and then I had my little backpack and so it was great.
And was it comfortable to use on the flight?
Sorry? Yeah.
Was it comfortable to use on the flight?
Totally. And actually it was actually nicer because you can even like undo it and then like have it long, like if you wanted like something long to like kind of or you could just then bring it back around. So it was yeah, so I'm super psyched. So I had bought one for me. Now I got them for everybody because we're actually going. I was like, okay, we all have to have these pillows. So yeah, like that definitely help, like little tricks like that.
We love stuff like that.
We both love to travel, and we've both tried to travel with our kids from a young age, so we're on the same page with you there.
Yeah, it's been great. I was just telling somebody we went to Israel when my son was like 3 years old, I think. And when he was little, all he wanted to do was blow out candles. Like if there was a candle to be seen, he was blowing it out. So when we go to restaurants or something, the waiter, would blow it out. The waiter would come back. We're like, don't. But they would keep lighting them. We're like, don't bother. So we were in Israel and we went to this restaurant and we get there and it was candlelit, but it was like 100 candles, like just candles everywhere in this restaurant. And we walk in the front door And we're like, oh no. So we had to like negotiate with the restaurant owner and my son to be like, okay, you can blow out this many, and then they're not going to relight those. And then, you know, as long as you do good after you eat all your food and you behave, then you can blow out another 20. Like, and so like, we're like, we'll light them all when we're done. We're so sorry. But it was just so funny to like, it was like our worst nightmare walking in there and being like, oh my gosh, all these candles.
Oh my gosh. So funny.
Great story.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're actually prepared to talk about this. And so if you're not, I will cut this out of the podcast. But
Yeah.
you had mentioned the mom prom to me, and I told Jenny. And so now we're really intrigued and would love to know more.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yeah, so we are throwing a prom for mom. It's going to be on May 11th in Lakeview, 6 to 10 o'clock. And it's just going to be dinner and dancing and tacky prom dresses and photo ops and hopefully working on getting like beauty services. So maybe like little hand massages for the moms and just a ultimate mom's night out.
Okay. We're signing up.
We're in.
Yeah.
We're in.
I'm also going to go thrifting for some like old school prom dresses.
Right? Yeah, I know. So we have to like, I know. I was like, I don't know if I'll fit into anything I had, so I definitely have to go shop.
Yes.
Um,
And
yeah.
can
Other
people find out about that on the website or?
Yes. So we put a save the date on our social media, but
Okay.
we will be sending out like actual invitations on our website and through social media first week of April.
Okay. That's good to know.
What's coming up?
Yeah. I know. I'm like, I don't know what I've gotten myself into, but
It's going to be wonderful. It sounds great.
yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So where can people learn more about Macaroni Kid and all of the, wonderful events and resources that you pulled together for folks?
So the Chicago Northside edition, which really focuses like Lakeview to Evanston, that is northsidechicago.macaronikid.com. And then our second edition that covers Skokie, Niles, Park Ridge, all the way up to Rosemont. That one is just skokie.macaronikid.com. So, and then our social media is also Northside Macaroni Kid and Skokie Macaroni Kid. So yeah, so you'll find us on Instagram and Facebook, and we try and post daily and promote like our articles and guides and stuff. So
Great. And we'll make sure to include those in the show notes. Sorry, Jenny, I cut you off.
No, that's important to note. So you post daily, but then mention your newsletter. Is that like a weekly, a monthly newsletter?
yeah, it's weekly.
Okay,
So it goes
amazing.
is at 4:00. We try and be very consistent with that. So yeah.
That's incredible.
And I just thought of a last minute question. Are you like a one woman team, or do you have other people that help you with this?
I am kind of a one woman team. I have had here's another little piece of information for people. I have had interns a couple of summers. Chicago Public Schools has a great intern program. And they're always looking for businesses to take these teens on. And they pay them. They pay them, I think it's $18 an hour to work for your company.
Oh,
That's a sweet gig.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's great for them, great for me.
Yeah.
So I've asked a couple of summers to get a little bit of help. But and they're always looking for businesses that are willing to do it. They seem to have a hard time finding businesses. I don't know. But yeah, so that aside from that, no, it's just me. I try and get my kids to help, but
yeah, right. Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard one.
Well, we're grateful for your one woman show.
Thank you so much. A lot of fun.
Anything else that we kind of missed in terms of Macaroni Kid and all of the wonderful things you offer?
Um,
Well, I thought of something. Oh, go ahead, Deborah. You finish your thought, and then I had a thought too.
No, I was just gonna say, just in addition to kind of like our guides, I mean, we do have just like the regular event calendar. So every day you'll see kind of what's going on. So you don't necessarily have, if you're not necessarily looking for a summer camp or what to do for St. Patrick's Day, if you just go to our event calendar, you can just see in general what's happening each day.
Okay, yeah, that kind of ties in with my thought. If someone was like curious about like a specific outing or like a certain age range and they had a question specifically, like could they reach out to you on like Instagram, or like are you like, is there something that you could like then find for somebody if it's doesn't seem like it wouldn't be there, but by the off chance it's not on your site, kind of like then looking for something specific if people had questions?
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely email me. I think that'd
Okay,
be best.
awesome. Yeah.
It's deborah@macaronikid.com. And that'd probably be, the easiest. But yeah, and you can search on our site. So everything we put on is just, it's there like, for, forever or whatever. So, I mean, you can always search for something. So there might be something from 3 years ago about, an event or something, then you want to find out about it. You can just search and, it'll come up.
Amazing.
Great. Well, Deborah, thank you so much for joining us. We'll make sure to share, your Instagram, your website, Facebook, email, and all of that in our show notes so that people can start accessing this amazing resource if they're not already. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. It's been great. And I will see you at the prom.
I can't wait. I'm so excited for that. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all of the latest, you can follow us on Instagram @_andthenwehadkids. Thanks again. And like we say, life used to be carefree, and then we had kids.